So today we're going to base our exercises and everything that we learned yesterday, we're going to apply it today, but understanding that the main topic is going to be simple present passive. Okay. So here the key word is the word passive. Okay. We have the simple present, the present continuous, the all the other tenses, right? But they are not passive. This is the key word, the word passive. So I just want you to keep that in mind. The simple present passive. Now, why do we use the passive? What is the function of the passive? Here we have an important explanation. So I want somebody from your from the class to read with me. I'm gonna ask maybe Caroline. Caroline, can you read the sentence of the use of the passive?
Use the passive when the doer of the action is not known or not important.
Okay, perfect. So this is the function of the passive. When do we use passive? You use passive when the doer, quien hace la acción, the doer of the action is not known or not important. So that depends on the person who's speaking, right? So it depends on you if you're the one using or expressing something. If you think that the doer of the action or the person who is doing the action might not be relevant for the information that you're providing. Okay, so how is this formed? I'm going to give you some ideas on the structure on how to form these sentences. These are almost identical to the past passive that are the sentences that we learned how to build when we were in intermediate three. The difference is, of course, this is the simple present. So we're not going to use past verbs. We're going to use present verbs as the verb be. So the simple present passive is formed with the present form of the verb be, that means is, are, or am, and the past participle. Okay? Examples. So we have the subject, it is or it's made with rice and vegetables. We have the verb be, which is, and then we have the past participle of the word make. So if you go to your dictionary or if you go to your verb list and try to find out what is the past participle of the word make, and you will realize that the word made is the past participle of that verb. So it is made with rice and vegetables. So that's one idea. Let's see another way of putting it. So the sculptures, that's the subject, are, that's the verb be. Remember that we're using the present form of the verb be. The sculptures are carved out. So you have that in your dictionary. You go to uh, either your dictionary or to your verb list, whatever is easier for you, and you look for the word carve or carve out. Now, in this case, the word carve out is a verb already, okay? A verb. Now, the word carve out is esculpir, right? Carve, pero si ustedes han notado la forma de esculpir, ¿verdad? De tallar, no es que uno, ¿cómo les diría yo? Como que lo arma en piezas o algo así, ¿verdad? Sino es que literalmente de la roca están formando la figura, ¿verdad? That's the actual verb of carve, carve out, right? So you literally with a chisel, you kind of form out of the rock or out of the ice in this case because it's a festival of ice. So out of the ice, you bring those figures to life. So sculptures are carved out. Carve is a regular verb, so you can go and find what is the form of the past participle of this verb, and this is carved. So ed in the end, carved. Sculptures are carved out of ice. This is the affirmative sentence form. Okay, so you're saying that the sculptures are carved out of ice. Now the question here is, who did it? Who carved out the sculptures? Well, that is either not known or not important to the information that I'm giving you. Okay. That is why we are using this type of tense, the passive form of the present simple, because we're just letting the people know certain information. But in this case, who did it is not relevant. What I'm focusing on is the result. The sculptures carved out from the ice. Okay. So, okay, that's the affirmative form. So we're talking about the forms. So I'm going to give you some other examples of other forms, okay? Because we have a negative form, then we have a question form or information questions. So the negative form is pretty similar. The main difference is that you're adding the word not, just as in any other tense, right? So it's not eaten hot. So here we can talk about kimbap, right? So kimbap is the verb be, not the negative past participle of eat, eaten hot. So it's not eaten hot. What does that mean? That you eat it cold. They are not made locally. They is the subject, are is the verb be, not is the negative, and the past participle of make is made. Okay. So I want you to be very ready to look for the past participle of verbs. Maybe you're not entirely sure um, of the verb. I will encourage you to look for it. Okay. So let me give you an example. If you use the dictionary that I normally recommend, which is wordreference.com, you will see something very peculiar. That in this case, you have, for example, we were talking about a moment ago about the verb carve, right? Okay. So I look for the word carve, which is a verb. I look for it, and here I have the conjugations. So if you see, we have I don't know what's happening here. Let me refresh. Something happened with it. Okay. Here. We have here third person singular, carves. Present participle. Remember that the present participle es el ing, okay? Al present participle así le llamamos, es el ing. El pasado simple, carved. Pasado participio, carved. So this dictionary tells you the different conjugations of the verb. Of course, this is just going to happen if you're looking for a verb, okay? So let me see if it works with the word write, okay? So I look for the word write. It's a verb. Let me take a look at that, okay? Here, past wrote, past participle written. Okay, so this is another tool that you can use to look for the participle of the verbs if you are not sure and you want to know the meaning or the form very quickly. You can also go to your verb list and scroll down and find the verbs. I guess that is the longer way. This is the shortest way of finding out. So I'm just giving you some ideas on how to use your tools. Um, so for example, I don't know what is the past participle of the word eat. I look for the verb eat and I immediately have the conjugation. Past participle is eaten. And I confirm that because I see that my examples have that very same word in the past participle place. What about questions? You can ask questions with present passive as well. Questions. These are the information questions. Remember that the information questions are those that are starting with how, what, when, where, etc. So if it starts with a WH word, it's an information question. So you have a question word, you have the verb be that has to be simple present, you have your subject and the past participle of the verb. Just notice how the order of the words is different in questions only. So how is kimbap made? Past participle of make, I don't know what it is. I'll go to make. What is the past participle? Past participle is made. Okay. So how is kimbap made? What are the sculptures made out of? So here's another one. Made out is another verb which is formed, construidas. What are the sculptures made out of? They are made out of ice. Made out of. Made is the past participle of made. And we have one more. We have the yes, no questions. The yes, no questions. Remember that yes, no questions, they don't have what, where, when. Those are not yes, no questions. Those are the information questions. Yes, no questions start with the verb be, then with the subject, and then the past participle. So, for example, is it or is kimbap eaten hot? It's a yes, no question because you have to answer either yes or no, right? Is kimbap eaten hot? Yes, it is, or no, it is not. Are they made of ice, or are the sculptures made of ice? Yes, it is, or no, they're not. Okay. So here we have a little note that might be useful for some of you if you're interested in knowing some statistics. So in conversations, the most common passive verbs are made, done, and called. Be sure to use the verb in the present simple passive form. Okay. So, I mean, you can use many verbs in passive, but these are like the very common verbs in English. Made, done, and called. Made comes from make, done comes from do, and called comes from call. If the doer of the action is important, let's say that you do have to introduce the doer of the action, then you can do it with the word by. We call that the agent. No sé si recuerdan, pero cuando vimos el past passive y si se sabía quién había hecho algo, le agregábamos esa personaje a través de la palabra by, ¿no? Entonces, por ejemplo, two robbers were detained by the police. Entonces, dos ladrones fueron detenidos. Hasta ahí podría ser la noticia, ¿no? O la información. Two robbers were detained. That's fine. But what if there is certain importance or I need to or I want to highlight who did the action? Well, I introduce the agent with the word by. So two robbers were detained by the police. Okay. Here's another example related to the topic that we studied yesterday. The sculptures are carved by teams from all over the world. So we're being informed about who did that action or who's doing that action. So just for your information, that's exactly why we do it. Let's read this, and I'm gonna ask two people to help me reading. This is just like a summary of how to use the simple passive expressed with words. So I'm gonna ask two people. I'm gonna ask, let's see, Liz and Miguel. So Liz, can you help me reading the first paragraph? And Miguel, you're going to help me reading the second paragraph, okay? That's an explanation on how to use the simple present.
Verbs can be active or passive. The active form of a verb focus on the door, on the cause of action. It says what the door does. The passive form of a verb focus on the receiver of an action rather than on the door.
Okay, very good. So this word is doer, okay? As doer, not doors, but doer. Can you repeat that part? Just the word, doer?
Door.
That's right.
Door.
Es como do de hacer, pero le agregamos er, ¿verdad? Doer.
Door. Okay.
Yes, that's right. Perfect. Y eso significa el que hace la acción, ¿verdad? El que hace la acción. Let's go with Miguel. Can you read the second part?
Okay. The passive is generally used when the door or cause of an action is not important. or is obvious from the context. The doer can be introduced if need with the word be by following the verbs, e.g. the sculptures are carved by teams from all over the world.
Okay, very good. Esta palabra es by. Cada vez que aparezca, ¿verdad? by es by.
Okay.
Ujú. Esto va para todos, ¿verdad? Cuando veamos esto de EG, esto significa por ejemplo. Cuando decimos por ejemplo, ¿verdad? Podemos decir en inglés, for example. Esa es una forma, es una abreviatura de esto, ¿verdad? Em, de hecho, es una palabra eh, como latina, ¿verdad? Es una abreviatura latina que se ha quedado, pero significa más o menos, por ejemplo, ¿no? Eh, sí, vamos a ver, ¿qué más? ¿Qué más? ¿Qué más? ¿Qué más? Ujú. Ok, creo que hemos visto todo lo que necesitamos recordar del passive. I think we have covered all. I hope that you refresh your memory a bit on the passive, and because it's very, very similar to what we did in intermediate three. The difference is how we are applying it. Today, we're applying it for things that are happening in the present. Okay, we're not telling facts about the past. We're just talking about general ideas of the present. And you are going to have some exercises in the next few minutes, hopefully to try to raise some questions. If there are things that you are not understanding, the purpose is to try to make you practice and find out why. If you have problems, if you don't know how to transform the sentences, etc. Well, this is a good moment because we can repeat, we can explain again, you can practice again, etc., etc. When the class is over, it's going to be too late. So that's why I would like to have this kind of exercises with you here. So we're going to start our series of exercises with the very first one, which is transforming the sentences into present passive. Okay, so I'm going to give you 10 sentences, 10 different sentences. These sentences are in active voice. Eso quiere decir que son oraciones que nosotros conocemos bien porque están hechas en forma activa. Es decir, el pronombre va primero, luego va el verbo, luego va el como complemento. Pero passive voice es al revés. Nos enfocamos en el complemento, en el resultado, no nos enfocamos en la acción. ¿Ok? Entonces, vamos a tener que aprender a darle la vuelta. Tienen 5 minutos. De esos 5 minutos yo voy a usar 30 segundos para explicarles la número uno. Y luego vamos a ver si les da tiempo para hacer las demás. ¿Ok? Em, ¿Saben qué? No voy a quitarles tiempo. Voy a explicarlo, pero lo voy a explicar ahorita antes de. Voy a compartir mi pantalla un momentito, pero voy a hacerlo en un pizarro. Okay, so I'm going to do a whiteboard. So I'm going to do number one. I'm going to give you this as a gift, just because I want you to refresh your memory before starting or um, getting a bit crazy about not remembering. So this is number one. This is the very first one that you're going to find in the exercise. Okay. So what is the structure or the form of the sentences in present passive? So I want you to remember this. The structure of the present passive is going to be your subject, your verb, and then the verb in past participle, EP, past participle, plus any complement or any idea, uh, any additional idea that we may have. Okay? So let's say that my instructions are to transform this active voice sentence into a passive voice sentence. How would I do that? How would I go about that? Well, let's do and follow the instructions. we are focusing on the receiver of the action, right? We're not focusing on who is doing the action. I'm not focusing on who is doing the action. I'm focusing on who's receiving the action or what is the result of that. Okay. So here is the result. Many applications. So that's the subject. That's the new subject. Then I have the verb be are. Why? Because applications is plural. So I have to use the verb be, which is uh, logical to my subject. Many applications are, well, I have the verb, but the verb has to be in past participle. The verb receive is a regular verb, so the past participle is received every. Here, the doer of the action is not important. No es importante, no estoy enfocando esto sobre nosotros, sino solamente estoy explicando el resultado, que es que recibimos muchas aplicaciones son recibidas todos los días. Si fuera importante decir quién hace la acción, en este caso la acción de recibir, sería entonces by us, pero no es necesaria. Para eso está el passive voice. Many applications are received every day by us. I'm gonna erase it because I don't think it's necessary. It's not that important. So many applications are received every day. Notaron que como que estoy usando al revés, como que estoy usando el predicado para poder ser el sujeto de mi nueva oración. El verbo es una combinación del verb be in simple present, are, am, or is. It all depends on the new subject. The verb is in past participle. In this case, the verb receive is in past participle. And then the complement, of course, complement. I meant complement. Um, um, uh, this is what I meant. So this is what you have to do and follow every time that you build a sentence. Remember that if you find a negative sentence, the negative has to be present. And if you find a question, the order of the words is a little different. So that's what I wanted to do. I wanted to explain at least one, to make it easier for you. Now you have 9. You don't have to do number 1 again. You have other 9 to worry about. Any questions before I start? After the exercise, I'll answer some questions again after I see your answers. So we'll see how that goes. Tienen que darle scroll down, ¿verdad? Porque si hay muchas, no todas están a la vista. Entonces cuando le dan así como scroll down, ya pueden ver el resto de las oraciones. Perfect. So time is over. I'm gonna just take a sneak peek of some of the answers. I might not be able to show them all, but at least I'm gonna show some of them. Here, let's see. Many applications are received every day. Okay, the shopping is done by me. Uh-huh. Okay, interesting. An article is written by Daniel every week. Okay, perfect. Good job. We're on the right track. Thank you very much. Let's see more. Uh, Pizza is loved by everybody. Those cakes are ba made by my mother. Okay, very good. I'll have another one. I do the shopping. The shopping is done. Or done by me. Those cakes are by my mom. Vegetables are sold at the market. Active sentences are converted to passive. Very good. More. Okay, number 8. Where was missing? I see another one. Uh-huh. Pizza. Okay, I'm done the shopping. An article is written every day. Okay, written no puede ser porque wrote es el pasado, pero no el pasado participio. Sería written. Ese es el ejercicio, ¿verdad? De estar yendo y regresando. Okay, very good. Fair enough. I think that at least the answers that I was able to get look very, very nice. Let's see here. Okay, thank you very much. I see more arriving. Those cakes are really my mother. Great. Perfect. Thank you. Thank you for those who are sending in the chat as well. That's another alternative. If by any chance you're not able to send it through Nearpod, whatever the reason, you are also able to participate in the chat. So let's do the next one. The next one is a quiz. Okay. Um, in this case, there are 10 sentences, and you will receive the instructions. You have 3 minutes to complete or select the ones for the 10 sentences. Okay. Choose active or the passive form of the simple present tense. Okay. So you see both, and you select the one that is good for that sentence. Ojo que aquí el contexto es la oración. Okay. So you pay attention to the sentence. If the sentence requires a passive verb, then go ahead and do that. The sentence might not require it. So that's why I'm asking you to read the sentences. And then I'll give you feedback at the end. Thirty seconds. Okay, so there you have your feedback. I'm gonna show you the feedback back. So everybody on their screen will receive feedback of what you did. Okay, so of course, if you answer all of them, you will have here the statistics. If you answer all of them right, then you have all green. If you answer all of them bad or wrong, then you have all red. If not, you have a mix. So the first one, my room is cleaned every day. That's passive voice. The plants are watered by the gardener. Passive voice. They don't deliver the milk on Sundays. This is active voice. It's a normal sentence. No passive voice required because the sentence doesn't require it. English is taught as a second language in our school. Passive voice. Fresh vegetables are sold in this supermarket. Passive voice. Julie writes articles for a famous newspaper. This is active voice. So again, you have to select one or the other depending on what is the context of the sentence. What I feel is that many of you were just answering the passive voice ones, although you had to read the sentence to try to understand if that was the right answer or not. Number 7, my sister always helps my mother to set the table. Number 8, TikTok is used by people around the world. This is passive voice as well. Number 9, I do the house chores in the house. So that's active voice. It doesn't require anything else. And number 10 seems to be active voice as well. We fry the potatoes in the mixture of vegetable oil and butter. Okay, so there you have your feedback. I think that you did a very good job. I just wanted to make sure that you are not um, just answering randomly, okay? That you're thinking a little bit. Um, so Nearpod might not be working for some of you, so I appreciate you still trying. Um, and we'll have more opportunities. If Nearpod is not working, we'll have more opportunities for the rest of the exercises. So that's this our second activity. Let's go to our third activity. Remember, we're still just pushing our brain to do this, okay? Now, this is going to be a little more demanding. So I'm going to give you some verbs, okay? Or words, not only verbs, because some of these are not verbs. They are words, just words. And I am asking you to use these words to create sentences in present passive. But I'm just giving you a few words. I'm not giving you the sentence. I'm just giving you a couple of words, and you have to use those words to create a sentence in present passive. Okay? So again, what we're doing here is trying to push you to really understand the topic and not make any mistake because you're so familiarized with the passive voice. So again, you're going to have series of words. You are going to have to use those words to create a sentence. The restriction or the instruction is that sentence has to be in simple present passive. So let's see how you do. You have 4 minutes. Let's see if you're able to do them all. You have 5 sets of words. So that means that you need to create 5 sentences. 50 seconds before the time is over. Okay, time's over. Let's see some of your ideas. I'm gonna grab them randomly. Okay, documents are printed every day. Congrats, that sounds good. The windows car are maybe the car windows. I think it's backwards. The car windows are open all night. Okay. Let's see here. Those shoes are bought by Joan. So, nice. The car is washed. That's good. I think I need more context, maybe, just to try to understand the entire sentence. And the letter is thrown away. Okay, perfect. Very good. I think that you understood the task. I appreciate it. I think you did a very, very good job. I think we're moving on. The next sentences or the next exercises are going to be filling the blanks. Remember this exercise? I think we have not done it very often. We normally do it more for the elementary, pre-intermediate kind of courses. I'm bringing that back just to help us learn or refresh the structure. Okay. So how do you do it? Just drag and drop and put the words in the order. And whenever you think you're ready, then you click on the word ready or listo, and you'll go. You're good to go. Okay, I see some people finishing. Thank you very much. Thank you for participating. So you immediately get feedback. If you realize after you put the words together and you click on the blue button, you immediately know if you did it right or wrong, right? So for example, here we're talking about chocolate. Chocolate is loved by everybody. So this is a correct sentence. I know that. So I'm gonna click on the blue button and I say I get a 5 out of 5. So that's the goal, right? Getting the highest score every time. So if I get a 3 out of 5, that means that I placed some of the words incorrectly and I have to try it uh, to do it better next time. So we finished that one. Let's do another two, and then we're going to move on to the last part of the exercises. So very quickly, this one is long. You'll notice that this one is long. Hopefully, you're able to get them all correct. Okay, we'll see. I have only received one answer. Nobody has sent anything yet. No, nobody else, just one person. I'm still waiting. Imagino que ya se dieron cuenta que esto es una pregunta, ¿verdad? Porque hay un question mark aquí en mechanic. So esa es la última. That's the very last one. You know at least that one. Okay, very good. So I received the second answer, the third answer. Okay, very good. Okay, I know this is hard. This one is very difficult. It's another level. So I'm glad for those who are trying the best. And if you did not get the right answer on the first attempt, that's perfectly fine. I appreciate you trying. I'm going to give you the right answer right now so everybody knows at least how this sentence goes. So just refreshing your memory, if it's a question, of course, the question mark is going to go all the way to the end, right? So it's a yes, no question. So that means that we don't have a word like what, when, where. That word is not here. But we have one of these that is capital letter. So that means that this is the very first word in the sentence, right? So it makes sense. Are what? Are the brake of your car checked by mechanic? Are the brakes of your car checked by a mechanic? This is the right answer. Okay, so congratulations for those who tried. And even though you did not get them entirely correct, you were on the right track. So are the brakes of your car, son los frenos de tu automóvil revisados por un mecánico? Like, is that or are you the one who checks them? Let's see. Yeah, 10 out of 10. Very good. We'll do one last one of organizing these, okay? So this is not a question. Vean que no hay question marks. So no questions, but there is an agent. Vean que sí hay un agente. Es decir, la persona o los que hacen la acción son relevantes de alguna forma para esta noticia. So the word by is here. So that means that, yes, you do have something here in the back. Okay, so I'll give you 2 minutes just to give it a try, and then we'll move on. Thank you very much. I see the first answer arriving. Right, 2 answers arriving. Thank you very much. I'll give another 30 seconds before I release the correct answer. Okay, so most of the answers arrived. Let me go ahead and give you the right answer. So congratulations. Let's see, Miguel, very good. You got 7 out of 7, so you got the right answer. So this writer's articles, oh, sorry. This writer's articles are read. I am pronouncing this read because that's the past participle. Is not read. Read is the simple present, but the past participle is read. So this writer's articles are read by many people. Los artículos de este escritor son leídos por muchas personas. So that's the information that I want to convey. 7 out of 7. Congratulations. You did a wonderful, wonderful job. And I have more exercises, but I'm gonna skip to the one that I would like you to do in the end. Before the time is over. We still have 30 minutes, but I think that we should pay some attention to this. So I want you to take a look at the picture. I'm gonna give you some minutes to write about the picture, and you will have to write a description of the picture using the simple present passive, okay? So, for example, if we pay attention here to this area, we can see that something's happening in this kiosk, right? So, so some, I think some souvenirs or some house articles are happening here, are being sold here. So I can say, for example, um, uh, uh, lamp is sold on the first kiosk. Okay, so that's one way of me describing one little thing, but there are many things happening. We see people, we see articles, we see things. We can describe the people's appearance. We can describe the people number. So I'm gonna let you be creative and decide what you want to say about these people, okay? So you're gonna have to write a description of the picture using the present passive. This is my example on how I did it, okay? So I have a lamp, I see a lamp here. That's why I'm writing about it. And I'm using the present passive, right? Is sold. Why? Because the word sell, which is vender, is simple present. The past participle of that is sold. So a lamp is sold on the first kiosk. So, or on the blue kiosk. I don't know. I'm just trying to put some identifier here so you can know where the lamp is. So we see boxes, we see a mirror, we see a cactus, I think this is. We see a person with a speaker. We see someone like trying to buy. We see someone carrying some boxes. We see a chair. We see this lady just walking by. We see this person that might be interested. So there are many things that you would be able to focus on when you are when you're doing it. So I'm gonna give you 5 minutes for you to describe the image. If you need to have access to the image, you can go ahead and click and you can enlarge the image. But I'm gonna give you 5 minutes. There is no timer in here. I'm gonna be taking the time on my cell phone. And when the time is over, you will have to send whatever you have. I just want to advise you have to be ready to share your answer. Okay, so I'm gonna be showing your answers and you will read it to the class. So everybody's gonna read your description of or your ideas of what you think is happening here. And that's gonna be it. So 5 minutes is starting now. Remember that the instruction is to use present passive to describe the photo, okay? That's what I need. Not a past passive, not simple present, not simple past. Is simple present passive is the one that we need. Okay, this is just to reinforce the topic that we are studying today. Okay, we have 1 minute and 40 seconds just for you to be aware of your time. Okay, time is over. So let's just start sending your answers. Whatever answers you have, it doesn't matter if you were not able to write a big paragraph or a big list of sentences. I'm going to give you the opportunity to share it with the class, and then we're going to be able to have a little reading. That's how I want to finish the class. So I'm gonna help you with a few things, okay? Okay, very good. Let's uh let's start with Miguel. Miguel Ángel, can you read the first one?
Okay. The people are bought souvenirs.
Okay. Las personas son compradas souvenirs, algo así.
Es como, como, ay, no sé cómo decir.
Porque la oración tiene las partes correctas, solo creo que está al revés. Por ejemplo, creo que
Oh,
sí podemos decir, por ejemplo, que los souvenirs son comprados por las personas. Eso sí se puede decir, ¿verdad? Entonces, ¿cómo quedaría esa oración si lo corregimos, ¿verdad? Es decir, siendo souvenirs el subject, but what would be the new sentence? Souvenirs what?
okay. The souvenirs are bought by people.
Exactly that. Souvenirs are bought by people. Okay, perfect. That's a great sentence in present perfect. And that's the key. Esa es la clave, ¿verdad? Saber cuál es la palabra que voy a utilizar o cuál es el sujeto que voy a utilizar ahora. En este caso son souvenirs. So souvenirs are my main word. Souvenirs are bought by people. And every check is fine. Souvenirs, subject, are is the verb be, bought is the past participle, by, and then of course the agent. So this is great. Thank you very much. Liz, can you read one of your sentences?
Que serían the handbag are bought by the girl, by the curly
Exactly.
girl.
Exactly. So we make that change, and now the focus on is not on the girl who's making the action, but on the bag, right? So the handbag is bought by the curly girl. So good job. Let's see here. Let me ask another person. Luisa. Luisa, can you read one of your sentences?
The prices are said by megaphone.
Okay, megaphone. Okay, very good. So the prices are said are I don't know if the word say is the one that we need here. Are because say is like say, tell, talk are verbs that are very similar, but I think that the word say is not used in this context. Especialmente si es un megáfono, maybe announced. Voy a cambiar una palabra y voy a decir anunciados. Announced. Announced. Okay. So the prizes are announced by a megaphone. Okay. I think your sentence is correct because grammatically it is correct. I'm just thinking about the context. I think that the context for the word say here is kind of weird. I have to investigate. I don't know why, but it doesn't feel like natural. I will change that word uh, for the word announced. So the prizes are announced by the megaphone, and that I think will be a better sentence. Thank you
Okay.
for
Thank you.
sharing. No problem. And let's see here. Friseida, can you read your sentence? I saw that you sent something via chat.
Post and other things are bought by some people. Their things are also sold by them with their umbrella.
Okay, very good. Thank you very much. So the first one you mentioned is pots and other things are bought by some people. That's correct. Are bought. Are porque estamos hablando de ollas y otras cosas, right? It's plural. Bought is the past participle of the verb buy. So I think that that's perfect. And I'm going to close the exercise with Karen. Karen, can you read some of your lines? Maybe just one or two things?
Um, various goods are displayed and sold, and the market umbrellas are strip, 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 like
Striped?
striped in red and white, and the the merchandise is display.
Displayed. Very good. That's correct. So we have the verb be here and the past participle. So that's good. Merchandise is displayed. The goods are displayed and sold. Very good. Are striped in red and white. Okay, very good. Este no es verbo, ¿verdad? Entonces creo que aquí estamos más que todo describiendo cómo son las sombrillas. So I don't think this will count as a present participle, but the other two are good. Okay, are displayed. This is present participle. Great choice. Um, the merchandise is displayed. Again, this is very good. So just making a little adjustment there. I mean, this is a good sentence. It's just that I think it doesn't qualify as a present perfect sentence. Okay,
Okay.
very good. Okay, I see, Caroline. I saw your answer. So can you read yours just for the class?
Cacti are sold at the blue and white striped tent.
Okay, perfect. That sounds perfect. Thank you very much. So cacti, remember that is cactus, but in plural, right? So cacti are sold at the blue and white striped tent. Okay, very good. Are sold. Um, that's the present. Perfect. Great. So I know that sometimes we're going to hit it and it's going to be perfect. Sometimes we're going to have to make some corrections along the way. But in general, I think that this is a very productive exercise and that you're doing a very good job. Okay. So hopefully we can practice more and you can feel more confident and more confident to use this kind of sentences. Okay. So I want to close today's exercise or today's practice with a little reading. Okay. So I have a reading that I want to share with you, and I'm gonna post it online. Give me just a second. Let's see here. And so everybody can see it and help me. So it's not long. It's actually quite short, but I think that it has some interesting vocabulary that we're maybe not used to see every single day. So every opportunity that we have to learn new vocabulary, I think we should take it. So this is the current text, okay? There are certain words that I will totally recommend to look for on the dictionary. So if you have your electronic dictionary ready, I recommend to look for the following words to make sure um, that you're following the reading, okay? So let's see, ensued. Okay, that's one. Let's see, reluctantly. That's another one. Merging. Okay, very good. Hung. Dreadful. Uh, maybe gathered. I don't know if this is an unknown word for you, but I think it will be good to just double check. Uh, blamed and recklessness. Crawling. Disbelief. Vowed. Okay, perfect. So these are some words that I would recommend to look for in the dictionary, at least just to have an idea. Maybe you're not gonna memorize it. You're not gonna memorize them all in today's lesson, but at least it's gonna help you understand the text a little better. So we have three paragraphs. Two of them are kind of longer. The third one is shorter. So it's talking about someone's experience while letting another person drive. So Mark was notorious for being a bad driver. Every time he got behind the wheel, chaos ensued. His friends had long given up on letting him drive during road trips. One sunny afternoon, Mark's friend Amanda reluctantly handed him the car keys. Within minutes, within maybe is a nice word, within minutes, he managed to cut off two cars while emerging onto the highway. He ignored the stop signs and red lights, promptly angry honks from fellow drivers. Mark's parking skills were equally dreadful. At the beach, he attempted to park between two cars, but ended up bumping both vehicles. An angry crowd gathered. Mark was blamed for his recklessness. Back on the road, Mark couldn't maintain a steady speed. He constantly alternated between speeding and crawling, creating a frustrating and dangerous situation for everyone on the road. Amanda watched in disbelief, regretting her decision. When they finally arrived back home, Amanda vowed never to let Mark drive again. He was indeed a good example of a bad driver, causing stress, annoyance, and danger to everyone on the road. So these are kind of nice words. I will totally recommend to take a look at that. So for example, the word ensued. Okay, so you have your dictionary. Ensued. Ensued is a verb. Past of the verb is ensue is the main verb. Ensued is the past of the verb, right? So chaos ensued, right? So basically ensued is to happen, to occur. And chaos is the same word in Spanish, just without the H, caos. So el caos ocurrió, caos sucedió. So Mark was notorious for being a bad driver. Every time he got behind the wheel, chaos ensued. Okay, so that's the first one. So let's go ahead and grab a couple of people to read. I only have 9 minutes, so I'm gonna try to give you opportunity. I'm gonna try to give the opportunity to everybody to read, but we might just not have the time. So I'm gonna start with Caroline, and then I'm going to go with Friseida and Karen. So that's the order. Every person is going to read a paragraph. Caroline, you have the first one, Friseida, the second one, and Karen, you have the third one. Okay. So let's go with the first one. Caroline, if you can help me.
Mark was notorious for being a bad driver. Every time he got behind the wheel, chaos ensued. His friends had long given up on ever letting him drive during road trips. One sunny afternoon, Mark's friend Amanda reluctantly handed him the car keys. Within minutes, he managed to cut off two cars while merging into the highway. He ignored stop signs, and red lights, prompting angry honks from fellow drivers.
Thank you very much. Friseida, can you do paragraph 2?
Mark's parking skills were equally dreadful. At the beach, he attempted to park between two cars but ended up bumping but recklessness. Back on the road, Mark count maintained a steady speed. He constantly alternated between spinning and crawling, creating a frustrating and dangerous situation for everyone on the road. Amanda watched in disbelief, regretting her decision.
Thank you very much. Karen, can you do the other one?
When they finally arrived back home, Amanda vowed never to let Mark drive it again. He was indeed a good example of a bad driver, causing stress and noise and danger to everyone on the road.
Thank you very much. So before we read the next on the next turn, I'm going to ask Liz to read the first paragraph, Luisa the second one, and Miguel the third one. Here, the word ensued, as I mentioned before, is to occur, to happen. Okay. Reluctantly is someone who is reluctant is someone who is not I would say is not very open to the idea, is kind of you do it, but you don't really want to do it. So that's the way that Amanda gave him the key. So she was not really trying to, maybe she didn't want to at first, but she ended up deciding to do it. Okay. Within means dentro de o en minutos, within minutes. Cut off es como metérsele a alguien, atravesarle el carro a alguien. That is cut off. Cut off two cars while merging. Merging when you're driving, merging is when you're driving and you go from one road to another, como que unirse a la autopista, right? So you enter the highway, basically, that's what this is. And the word honks son los bocinazos, okay? So prompting angry honks from fellow drivers. So Liz, go ahead and read the text for paragraph number 1, please.
Mark was notorious for being a bad driver. Every time he got behind the wheel, chaos ensued. His friends high long gave up on ever letting him drive during road trips. One sunny afternoon, Mark's friend Amanda reluctantly handed him the car case. Within minutes, he managed to cut off two cars while meeting onto the highway. He ignored the stop signs and the red lights, prompting angry honks from fellow drivers.
Thank you very much. Before Luisa starts, I just want to do a little recap on the words. Dreadful means terrible, terrible. So Mark's parking skills were equally terrible. So he was bad at driving and he was bad at parking. That's what this says. Gather is to meet or to uh, reunite people. Blame is culpar, like for example, okay, you are responsible for this in a bad way, right? And recklessness es como alguien reckless es alguien descuidado, pero también es alguien como que a propósito tal vez hace alguna imprudencia. That's recklessness, okay? So speeding and crawling, these are two terms that we use in driving when we're talking about driving in English. Speeding is when you go over the speed limit. Of course, that's illegal. But crawling is the opposite, which is also illegal. At least in the United States, it's illegal. Like, for example, if you're on a highway and you are going very slow, then you can get a ticket. So you are breaking the law because you are on a highway, you are on a speedway, but you're driving too slow. So basically, crawling means moving really slow, and speeding means moving too fast, like above the speed limit. And disbelief is you can't believe something, right? So Amanda couldn't believe what was happening. So let's see. Who's here? Okay, Luisa. Luisa, can you read the last one? Sorry, the second one?
Okay. Mark's parking skills were equally dreadful. At the beach, he attempted to park between two cars, but ended up bumping both vehicles. An angry crowd gathered. Mark was blamed for his recklessness back on the road. Mark couldn't maintain a steady speed. He constantly alternate between speeding and crawling, creating a frustrating and dangerous situation for everyone on the road. Amanda watched in disbelief, regretting her decision.
Mhm. Regretting. Regretting means arrepintiéndose de su decisión. Regretting her decision. Good job. And Miguel, you're the last one. Can you do the last paragraph? The word vowed es como jurar, ¿verdad? Como decir, yo nunca lo voy a volver a hacer, ¿verdad? She vowed that she would never do it. Así como ella se juró o prometió nunca volver a hacerlo. That's what this means. So go ahead, Miguel.
Excuse me, teacher. Well,
Yes.
is the part when
Paragraph
they
number 3.
finally okay when they finally arrived back home, Amanda vowed never to let Mark drive again. He was indeed a good example of a bad driver, causing stress, annoyance, and danger to everyone on the road.
Very good. Thank you very much, everyone on the road. And that's how we're going to end the class. Thank you very much for helping me reading. I hope you had some, course, some of these words added to your vocabulary. I really hope that you attempted to look for them on your own. I tried to give you like an idea of what they meant so we could understand the paragraphs when we were reading them again. But I hope that this becomes like a tradition for you. Every time that you're reading something, you have your dictionary next to you and you're making sure that you're understanding most of the words. I know that sometimes there are too many words and we will not have enough time to search for all of them, but at least having a pretty good idea of what's happening, it's going to occur when you know most of the words. So that's it for tonight. I really hope that you could learn something new and still were able to participate. So I'm gonna stay just with Sander, and because I think that he's the only one missing on the test, and the rest of you may go ahead and leave for the day. So I'll see you tomorrow at 7:30. Wish you the very best.
Bye-bye.
Bye, teacher.
Thank you, teacher. Bye.
Goodbye.
Bye bye, Carolina. I don't know if you're raising your hand or saying goodbye.